So this was our last unit that we did of the before the break. So my hope is that hopefully this is a little bit more, I don't know, easier now. So I have here for the geometry review. There are basically two important numbers that you need to remember, 180, 360. That's really about it. Okay? When in doubt, 180, 360. Now it says here, important things to remember, straight lines add up to 180 degrees. Remember there was a protractor. When you can draw that protractor symbol, it's 180. Interior angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Exterior angles in a triangle add up to 360. So 180 inside for a triangle, 360, and 360 is actually every single other one. So here, I have an example. I'm going to be solving for x. The only way I can do this, again, for EQAO, my strategy to you is you want to label unknown angles, and you're going to have to solve for some unknown angles. So I have here angle A and angle B. What do you notice about this picture? Jonathan?
It's an isosceles triangle.
Good.
So you do 180 minus 42, and then you'd get 138, and then you divide it by 2,
Good.
and you'd get A and B.
Because I have this angle, because these two sides are the same, that means these two angles are the same. So if those two angles are the same, I can use, it's a triangle, so I'm going to calculate angle A, which is 180 minus 42. What did you say I got, Jonathan?
138.
Very good. So I got 138 degrees. I don't want to put that little degree symbol. And because both of these angles are the same, I have to share it, so I divide it by 2. So angle A gave us what, Jonathan? 69 degrees. So what I have to do now, what I want you to do so you can see things easier on your paper, once you figure out an angle, I want you to put it inside the picture so it helps you. Now, because this was from I used my ASTT, that's a triangle, using my triangle theorem. Now, I know angle B is also 69 degrees because it is an isosceles triangle theorem. Now, I still have to solve for angle x, excuse me. How do I solve for angle x here? Someone who I haven't heard from. How do I solve for that? Tristan?
Can you draw the protractor?
Yep, I can draw the protractor, which is, do you remember what theorem that is, Tristan? Yep, it's the supplementary angle theorem. So I would do 180 minus 69. And I get here that angle x is equal to 111 degrees. And that's from my supplementary angle theorem. Okay, does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. Next one, another shape that you need to know is quadrilateral, so a four-sided shape. So some important things to remember. Interior and exterior angles in a quadrilateral both add up to 360. Inside, outside. Again, if you forget that, you can always say, how many triangles can I make within this shape? How many triangles can you make? 2. You can only make one from here to here. There are 2 triangles. We know triangle is 180, so you can do 180 times 2. Whatever gets you the correct answer. So here, I have to solve for these angles. So I'm going to call them x, maybe ABC. A, B, C, D. I can only solve for, wow, actually I could solve for an interesting angle first, but we'll see if anyone can pick that up. Okay, what angle can I solve for first? Andrew? How can I solve for A?
No, B.
Okay, sorry, say that again. Okay, how am I going to use that to solve for A? Okay, yes, you can solve D using the supplementary angle theorem. So I can, look at this, I draw my protractor. So I can find angle D is equal to 180 minus 45. And I get angle D, what is that equal to? Andrew? Very good. And that was from my supplementary angle theorem. So I'm going to fill it in here. 35 degrees. Tristan?
Couldn't you find out angle C to that? Use the C.
Very good. You could use the C pattern here. Okay? Because we do have parallel lines, and C is the only one that involves calculations. So there's my C pattern. So I can do angle C equals 180 minus 140, or sorry, minus 35. And I get angle C to equal 65 degrees. 165. No. Thank you. 145. Parallel line theorem, the C pattern. Lucas, did you have anything that you wanted to say about that?
Can't you use the Z pattern to find C as like a protractor?
Absolutely. Look at how many ways we could have done this. There is also a Z here. Either one works, you get the same answer. And you know, in Z, they're the same. Okay, now what? So I figured out angle C, angle D. Jonathan?
You can figure out B by the pattern,
What do you mean?
like that pattern.
Oh yeah, I can. I never thought to do it that way. I could use the F pattern. There's another one. What type of shape is this? What type of shape is this? Lucas?
Quadrilateral.
It is a quadrilateral. It's a special type of quadrilateral. If I were to ignore this part here, what type of shape is that? You got some options up there. What type of shape is that? It's a parallelogram. Both sides are parallel. And we talked about this in a parallelogram. I know that these opposite angles are equal. So I can write here, angle A equals 35 degrees. Angle B equals 145 degrees. Now you could do that through using the C pattern. Jonathan thought of a way that I never would have thought of by using the F pattern in there to figure out angle B. There's lots of ways to do this. As long as you get the correct answer, I don't care how you do it. Okay, so that's a quadrilateral. Remember that a quadrilateral is 360, okay? Okay, here we have some interesting ones. Important things to remember, as soon as you have parallel lines, you want to look for the F, C, and Z pattern. C is the only one you have to do calculations. They have to add to 180, okay, which we've already kind of talked about. So, in this first example here, what's the first angle that I can solve for? Nick? D. How can I solve for D?
By using the Z pattern.
Excellent. Here I have a Z pattern, so I'm going to write here, angle D is equal to 40 degrees because of the parallel line theorem, the Z pattern. So I know this is 40 degrees, so I'm going to jot that in there. What's another one I can solve for? Andrew? How can I solve for E? So what would E be equal to? Very good. So I have here is an F pattern. And I know that this angle and this angle are the same. So angle E equals 80 degrees, parallel line theorem, the F pattern. As soon as you guys see parallel lines, start looking for those letters. EQAO always gives you an open response question involving parallel lines. You want to look for the letters to help you out. Okay, now I have to solve for my very, very last one. So I'm going to put this in here. This is 80. How can I do that? Jonathan?
You can do the S
I could.
80 minus 40,
Good.
60.
Very good. I could do 180. I could do my ASTT. I want to show you, instead of doing ASTT, I'm just going to tweak it. Anyone knows how else you could have done this? Tristan?
I forget what it's called, but since you know you could invert it, see.
No, they're not opposite. It doesn't make an X.
I
There's another way I could have done this, which might be helpful.
You could do like the subconjunctive angle theorem, but just do it on 80 minus 80 minus 40, and then you get
Here's my straight line. Here's my protractor. So I'm going to write here, and it's actually the same math, ASTT, SAT, same type of deal here, but I can figure out angle C by doing 180, subtract it from this 80, subtract it from this 40, so I'm left with angle C equals 60 degrees for my supplementary angle theorem, or you could have done ASTT. Lots of ways to do it. Okay, let's have a look at this next one. What do I got to do for this? This one's a bit tricky.
no, it's not.
What's the first one I'm going to solve for? What's the first one? Tristan?
Couldn't you solve for F?
Yes, I could.
From here?
Oh, not from the C. The C would be here, but these lines aren't parallel, so I can't use the C. You're right. The only angle I can solve for, though, is F, though, but I can't use that. Andrew?
Use the AST.
Yeah, big picture. It's a triangle. I know two angles inside this triangle. So when I figure out angle F, I do 180 minus 80 minus 70, leaves me with 30 degrees from my ASTT. Again, put the angle measurements in the picture. Now I need to figure out G. How am I going to figure out G? Jonathan?
Well, I figure out the unknown angle by doing the C pattern, saying n equal to z.
Where's there a Z?
No, like you could also figure the unknown angle out too by doing the C pattern. Like you can do the C pattern for G. So for
Okay,
G, you do 180 minus 30.
but that's not a Z pattern.
I said C.
Oh, C. Yes, you're right. It is a C. So I look here. These two lines are parallel. I have the C pattern, so I'm going to do angle G equals 180 minus 30, which gives me 150 from my parallel line theorem, the C pattern. Okay, lots of different ways to do these questions. Anyone still need this up? Okay. All right, interior and exterior angles and polygons. This is the last little bit. It says important things to remember. A regular polygon means all side lengths are the same, so all interior angles will be the same. You definitely have a question like that in your practice page today. I have here the sum. You have to remember this formula, bracket n minus 2 times 180. This formula will tell you the sum of the inside angles for any shape, where n is the number of sides. Then I have as a last point the exterior angles in any shape add to 360. So it says here, find the sum of the interior angles for a regular 20-sided polygon. What I must do is I have to figure out first in a 20-sided shape, what do the insides add up to? So I'm going to write here, the sum is equal to n minus 2 times 180. What will I write in my next line here? What will I write in my next line? Someone other than Jonathan. Noriel, can you help me out? What would I write?
Bracket 1 minus 2 subtract from 180.
Excellent. So you plug that all into your calculator, including the brackets. What do you get when you do this? What do you get when you plug that all inside your calculator? Anyone, anyone? You have to put times 180 after the bracket. Lucas? 3,240. How many of you were able to get that? Did it work? No? Okay. All right, now it says here, so this is what the sum is. So when you add up all angles, it should equal 3,240. It is a regular polygon because it says find the interior angles for a regular polygon. So if I want to find out what one angle is, Jonathan, what do I have to do? I divide it by 20 because they're all equal. Because it's a regular polygon. So what do I do? What answer do I get here? Andrew? 162 degrees. So that's what each interior angle equals. Because there's 20 sides, it's a regular shape, so you divide by 20. Okay? All right. You're going to get started. You're going to finish the booklet.